Hey everybody, I'll be right there. I'm just gonna get us set up here. I'm gonna put myself on mute too because I always start talking on this. So just give me a minute. I'll be right there. Oof, you guys. All right, things would just got like so crazy so fast. I have to tell you guys. Fucking, I'm trying to wash my bangs before our class because we had ritual this morning. Trying to wash my bangs before my class. So I've got like soap all on my fingers. And Magic is simply bringing the phones upstairs and the different things that I need to be able to do Q&A. And while I'm soaping my hair, I see that my daughter has somehow found a piece of styrofoam packaging, has taken a bite out of it, and is about to choke on it. So I go running over, and Tyga puts everything in her mouth. She always finds something, even if there's nothing on the floor, she'll find something on the floor and put it in her mouth. Today I was taking a bite out of a piece of styrofoam. So I go running over to get the styrofoam out of her mouth, can hook her. While I like got my finger in her mouth, I realize I have soap all over my finger from washing my bangs. So she's like, blah, 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 like soaping. Meanwhile, my 4-year-old, my 5-year-old now is like walking around the house going, has anyone seen a knife? And it's just like, it's so crazy, so fast. But you know what's like, I feel really kind of stressed today. And the reason why is because I actually like worked too much already. And for anybody that has kids, or anybody that thinks they might want kids one day, like please listen to what I'm saying and keep this in your back pocket because we've been told for so long that like if you want to be successful, you need to find a way to like be with your kids or care for the elderly less so that you can work more. And I'm like never stressed about work. It's very rare that I am. And I used to be super stressed out and I didn't know that I was. I would be like, if I'm freaking out about something really small, if I'm saying that like the way that you do with the dishes is a testament to our whole relationship, like I'm stressed. My husband would probably be able to tell you guys more about about how I deal with stress than me. But considering the amount of production that I do, like the stress that I feel is very small. And the reason why it's like this is because I cannot work too much. But my husband and I have been waking up at 5:30, and usually I wake up at 5:30, my kids wake up around 6:45. So that's like the max amount of time that I can work. But today my daughter slept in until 8:30. So I worked straight from 5:30 to 8:30 because I was like, what else am I going to do? Like grunt on my phone. And for those of you that are experienced with my work and how much we talk about formulating the concept of flow, not just being like, oh, I hope I'm in flow or I hope I'm out of flow, but actually understanding that flow has three formats: active, passive, and neutral, and making sure that you're getting a balance of active, passive, and neutral in the day. But today I went from active to ritual and usually I am tapped out of working. And active, passive, and neutral, this is referring to what's going on with you mentally. So mental output based on what you know would be active time. Do you want me there? Mental input based on what you don't know but are learning would be passive time, and a mental neutral is neutral time. And this is when I'm with my kids, I'm in neutral. When I'm with my kids, I'm just like in their flow, whatever they're doing. Are we playing? Are we cleaning, cooking, all of this? If I'm not listening to a podcast, I'm in neutral. And this is so good for like detoxing the work brain out of my mind. I used to have to smoke a lot of weed to like turn the business brain off. I used to drink a lot to like turn my brain off. Does anyone here resonate with this? Like, I can't turn my brain off. For me, like immersing myself into another project is the best way for me to turn my brain off because I'm a doer. When you take somebody that's a doer, that loves to create, that loves to produce things, and you tell them, oh, don't do anything, sit in meditation, go on vacation and unplug, it triggers a lot for them. It's not actually useful for them. Like they'll go really deep into self-loathing, and it's not because their self-worth is tied up in productivity, it's because they're a doer. And so flow for everybody looks like not forcing and not holding back. You take someone that's a doer and you tell them sit on your hands and don't do anything, they're holding back and forcing. They're forcing themselves to hold back, and they just get like crazy. And I'm a doer. You know who else is a doer? Beyonce says, she's like, I don't make music because, and I don't make art and I don't make all these different brands because of a money thing. She's like, I do this because I like who I am when I'm creating. When I'm not creating, I'm miserable. If you told me, oh, Nami, you worked so hard this morning, go and sit in the sauna, I would go sit in the sauna and be just like churning in the work brain. But when I go straight from working really hard into just like getting into the trenches with something with my kids, cleaning, cooking, making breakfast, playing, doing a project or whatever, within 15 minutes, I'm like in flow. I'm in neutral. And this is where like all of those missing pieces that I didn't know I needed come to me. Like, for example, I woke up in the middle of like the night last night, rest, neutral, and I knew what the next chapter of my book should be about. And I was like, great, wonderful. I even had the opening hook. It's like I had the whole thing downloaded. This is an advantage of not drinking is you get to access sleep time. But when I work too much, when I have too much active time, when I'm at the computer too much, when I'm on the phone too much, this is where I start to get really stressed out. I feel my mind starting to like harden into this groove of work-based thinking. And when I'm there, I like can't tap myself out of it. All I see is like the expanding to-do list. And I go into what I call like Hot Wheels mode, where like I'm a Hot Wheels car that can only go forward, where I'm like, what's the next task? And what's the next task? And what's the next task? And like, when I'm not interrupted, that can continue infinitely. And none of that work is actually even that good. Like I can bang out a lot of small production tasks, but if I was trying to do anything even remotely creative, whether it's like a graphic design or writing something or sending an email, like the quality of all that work by that point is just like bottom of the barrel. And I'm not happy. That's the main thing to understand. Like, I'm not happy. I'm stressed. I'm like, I have too much on my plate right now. So I really owe the happiness of my life and also the ease of my life. The word pace, like you're pacing, is the same root word as peace. Like Italian pace means peace. When I am allowing other factors of life, like my children and the needs of my home, to determine the pace of my work, I'm so happy. And I'm so like, I swear to God, it feels like everything is just being handed to me. That like somebody asked me the question that reminds me of the thing that I had forgotten, or the idea of how to do something. And like things happen really quick and really easy. And I know that I've asked you guys this before, but like the best set of questions you could ever answer for yourself is like, what does it feel like for me when I'm in flow? What does it feel like for me when I'm out of flow? And how do I get myself back in flow when I realize that I'm out of it? So if you've never answered this with me before, like go to the chat and answer it right now. What does it feel like when I'm in flow? So for me, when I'm in flow, I literally feel like I'm just floating through the channel of life and opportunities are being presented to me, never too many at once. One, I feel like I'm just coasting through life with these fucking waiters with their fucking hors d'oeuvres of opportunity, just being like, want a bite of this, want a bite of that. And it's so easy and it's so fun and it feels really magical. There's a lot of synchronicity. Everything's like ding, ding, ding. It's very like sparkly. That's what it feels like to me to be in flow. What it feels like for me to be out of flow is it just feels hard. It feels clunky. It feels like being in a mechanical to-do list with just one thing after another thing. Just the same where I feel like opportunities being presented to me, that but poison. Oh, Nami, you got to do this. You got to do this. You got to do this. Just this like endless unfolding. And then I look around my life and I'm like, oh my God, I got to make dinner. Oh my God, I got to fold laundry. Oh my God, I got to write the book. Oh my God, I got to do this thing. I feel like the to-do list is just like infinitely like just rolling out like fine print in front of me. And I feel stressed and it feels clunky and it feels hard. And what do I know gets me back in flow? I have the language for this now, neutral. Most of the time, people say a walk in nature, stepping away from the computer, moving my body, getting into the kitchen, getting into my human design environment. But going into neutral always gets me back in flow. When I don't know which way the flow is going into neutral is going to put me in flow. The same way if you were in water and the wind was blowing and you were like, shit, like I don't know which way the flow is going because everything's so choppy. If you were to put your oars up and just float for a minute, you would find where the flow is going and you'd be able to align yourself to it. Everyone in the world is connected to the same flow. Everything and everyone. Imagine the Milky Way like this. You guys can imagine the Milky Way, that spiral. That's the flow. That's the Tao. Everybody's connected to it. You can pull yourself out of it and try and drag people with you, but it's going to feel like swimming upstream. It's going to feel really hard. To go along with it is to feel like you're being twirled by the universe the way that you were meant to. For somebody that loves to do things, you could literally just work all of the time, but you wouldn't be happy. You wouldn't be happy about it. And even me, when I'm like, oh my God, I've got 3 uninterrupted hours of work, I start to feel kind of gritty afterwards because I've been in an active state of flow for too long. So if you're new to working with and to understand the 3 states of flow is to become more dexterous, to be more to have a better physical understanding, something that's very practical, tactile, something you can actually with your hands, not just an abstract thought. To be working with the 3 states of flow is to master the fourth dimension, which is time. The fourth dimension is time. When you understand one dimension completely, you naturally start to wrap your mind around the following dimension. We started off with the first 3 dimensions: length, height, depth. When we couldn't possibly taken any more information about what creates the 3D realm, we started to become aware of a fourth dimension, which is our location. We are always at a certain location in space, and we're always at a certain location in time. I'm in New York on January something, 2026. This is my location in space and time. Really important dimension to know. But time is not like propaganda. Time is not something that you have to override. Time is the fourth dimension. Time and space are always working together to get you what you need. Let me give you guys a metaphor. My husband very much wanted to get a new car. And I was telling him it's not the right time to get a new car right now. You're feeling grabby. You figured out that you can buy cars online. Now, every time you're taking a 45-minute shit, you're shopping for a fourth vehicle. I don't drive. We don't need as many vehicles, but it's not the right time. He's like, well, how do you know it's not the right time? There's this price, there's this thing. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Brand new to online shopping. I've been an online shopper forever. So I know about these auctions and the scarcity and stuff. But I was like, you don't have space for a new vehicle. We don't look outside right now. Where are you going to put a new vehicle? If there isn't space, it's not the right time. If there isn't space, it's not the right time. When people are getting very controlling, there's no other way to say it. If you take a pill called birth control for long enough, you're going to feel like you control birth. And just the words of this alone are giving you a false sense of hope because doctors can control when a fetus can be arranged in the womb, but as far as like a soul coming to earth, that's a divine act. And the space that a baby needs to grow in is the right womb. Now, every single month, the female body sheds the lining of the uterus. Layer is removed every single month until the perfect layer for gestating that human is present. You can't do a womb scraping to make that space happen faster. Space is the third force. Third force, anytime I do a triangle, I'm talking about the law of three. On Earth, we're obsessed with duality. It's like the illusion that we're all born into. I want this, I can't have it. Good, evil, right, wrong, bap, 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 bap. But the truth is that there's three forces to everything. Three forces to every single thing. So we talked about time having flow having three states, active, passive, and neutral. To create a baby, the three forces, sperm, active, swims towards the egg. Egg, passive, inputs the sperm. Is it selecting? Yes. Is it running after the sperm? No. Ladies, be the ovum. If he wanted to, he would. Don't you be booking that flight to California for a booty call. The egg stays where it is and makes a selection. The egg does not book that overnight flight to Berlin to go chasing some sperm. The egg is the passive receiver. The sperm chases the egg. The sperm competes. The egg waits. But even with a sperm and an egg, if there's not the right space, then it's not the right time. At the right time, the space appears. My husband doesn't want to hear, you want a new car? Clear some space. Clear some space. Then it'll be time to get a car. A lot of people looking for their soulmate don't want to hear, homie, when that soulmate arrives, half your closet space is going to be gone. Half your time is going to be gone. Clear some space in your schedule. You're living in your car right now. This is not the right space for your relationship. You do not want to live in your car with a man. When the space is right, it's the right time. Understanding that time is not a schedule, it's a flow, but schedules can be helpful. Understanding that the universe always has to clear space first and really living by this. Understand, really not knowing it, but understanding it, being able to tell yourself on a day-by-day basis, what do I need more of? Have I been really active today? I think I should get some neutral. Have I been very passive today? And it's going to feel like this morning I didn't want to go into passive because I'm like, it's 5:30 in the morning. I'm not going to input. I'm not going to watch social media. I'm not going to listen to an audio book. I should be productive. I have all this time, right? No. Maybe I needed some passive time to round things out. Maybe I needed some neutral time. When you align yourself with flow, when you're able to see your life as constantly offering you some medicine, hey, would you like to unplug? Hey, would you like to plug in? Hey, would you like to study? You really feel like you're constantly moving forward, and you are. You're moving forward in an easeful way because you're constantly in flow. To understand how this works for your life and for your creative process makes everything easier. And then throughout the doing of all of this, you're mastering the fourth dimension. What happens when you master one dimension? You can process the next one. You'll start to be able to wrap your head around the fifth dimension. But the problem with where we are currently living in time and space is that it's really trendy to talk about things like quantum leaping. Who here has heard about quantum leaping? Create an alternate reality and jump timelines. That's a fifth dimensional thing. That's something that you do in the fifth dimension. Multiple realities, multiple timelines, like the movie Sliding Doors. Who here has heard about manifesting? Create a reality where you want this thing and just manifest it, and you'll wake up and you're there one day. That's fifth dimension stuff. Can you go 1, 2, 3, 5? Is it possible to go 1, 2, 3, 5? A lot of people think it is. And they think that by just telling themselves, oh, time isn't linear. Okay, so it's not linear, but what is it? It's something. It's not something that you can just throw out. Even if we take all spirituality out of it, anybody with even like a cursory understanding of how psychology works, of how mental blocks work, of how personal narratives work, you can't just uproot something that has been governing your entire existence since birth, as well as the existence of everybody you know, and just say, oh, it's an illusion. It's not an illusion. It's a very specific thing. So, when the word time was invented, the Greeks invented the word time, and they had two faculties of time, Chronos and Kairos. Chronos and Kairos. Chronos was the father of all the Titans, and Chronos, from whence we get the word chronology, chronological, Chronos, time that's based on minutes, the right minute to do something. Kronos was the god of the Titan, was the father of the Titans, and it was prophesied that one of his children was going to kill him. So every time one of his kids were born, he would eat them. And something's really interesting about mythology, whether you're looking at like Egyptian mythology, Nut, or Kronos, god of the Titans, father of the Titans. In mythology, when somebody eats their children or is pregnant, the children keep growing to like full grown adults, and the act of being pregnant or having something in your body starts to become very painful for you. The symbolism of this is that like whatever you don't let out keeps growing. Whatever you're not permitted to release is going to keep growing inside of you. Whatever you don't talk about will eventually destroy you. So Kronos was one of many gods, but was the oldest looking of all of the gods, and was this self-devouring idea of time. There's never enough time. When you're focused on one function of time only, which is a time of minutes, Chronos, this is the energy you're in. There's not enough. There's not enough. There's not enough. Time is not my friend. There's not enough. There's not enough. That's one factor of time, Chronos. And you guys can be disgusted by this idea of Chronos, but most spiritual people need to learn how to work with Chronos time. So just, full disclosure, this guy's about to become your friend. The other word for time was Kairos, and Kairos means hand or weather. So Cairo, like chiropractor. Kairos means weather. And Kairos is the moments. Time is moments. So back when time existed was when we named it. This is the importance of etymology. Kairos was a very interesting looking god. Kairos was very young and very happy. Kairos had a really weird haircut. He was bald in the front, but he had a long, long, like rat tail in the back. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. The reverse. He had a long curly hair in the front and he was bald in the back. Strange looking guy. Kairos was a very fast, very young, very friendly god, the complete opposite of Kronos. And the reason why his hair was like this, because if you could see Kairos coming, you could grab the lock of hair at the front of his head and go on a ride. He could take you for a ride. But if Kairos passed you, he was bald in the back. There was nothing to grab onto, and you've missed it. If you know to be on the lookout for the right moment, you can catch that moment when it's coming by. But once the moment has passed, it's gone. That's why Kairos's hair is that way. Long in the front, bald in the back. Now, Kairos, this function of time, and the Greeks had to use both because we could say in Chronos time, I'm going to meet you in the town square at 1 o'clock. But if it's raining, it's not the right moment. So we could use Kairos time like they do in Costa Rica and say, I will meet you after the rainstorm. When you're setting goals for yourself, Chronos time is so useful. A lot of spiritual people only want to do things when they're inspired and they don't realize that they can set a date for themselves. I'm going to have this done. I'm going to have, here's a big reveal for you guys. I'm going to have the Science of Sales Masterclass ready by January 22nd. You can set that Chronos deadline and then be so impressed to see that your creativity is way more versatile than you ever thought. You can write in the morning, you can write in the evening, you can bust it all out the night before. When spiritual people are like, nothing's really moving in my business, my book isn't moving, my business isn't moving, most of the time it's because they haven't set a deadline. On a deadline, I don't know about you guys, but I don't respect the deadline that I made to myself. I have to tell other people the deadline. I usually make it public from the get-go. That's my Capricorn trick. Loud public deadlines that I would be mortified to miss. That's how I make things happen. Kairos, on the other hand, is really good for, well, literally everything else. So, for example, in our home, we can say, we will go to the grocery store after Tyga's nap. We wouldn't say we'll go to the grocery store at 2 o'clock. So it's not about choosing one type of time or the other. It's about using them both together. So what do you think you need more of in your life right now? Do you think you need more of a flow-based thinking? Or do you think you need to set a deadline and get it done? Let's recap what we covered here. 3 states of flow: active, passive, and neutral. If you're feeling stressed, you're probably getting too much of one of these because you've conflated productivity with active time only. That's okay. Now you know. What do you need more of today? Have you taken in a lot? That's passive time. You need active and neutral. Have you put out a lot? That's a lot of active time. You need passive and neutral. Has it just been loud in general? That's a lot of active or passive. You need neutral. How do you know when you're in flow? How do you know when you're out of flow? What do you know always gets you back in flow? 3 most important questions that you could ask yourself. 2 kinds of time. I'm sorry, 2 kinds of time. Chronos time and Kairos time. If you want to re-listen to this 3 times, that's fine. But there's not a lot of people that are teaching you how to master the 4th dimension. And the reason why spiritual work isn't really hitting for you isn't because it's too, what's the opposite of advanced? Too rudimentary. It's that it's too advanced. What's making my work land for you is because I'm teaching simpler stuff, not 5th dimension things, 4th dimension. I'm not asking that you quantum leap and become an expert in going 1, 2, 3, 5. 4 is an illusion. We're just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you learn 1 brick at a time, the foundation is sturdy and it can't be taken away from you. Processing 5th dimensional stuff is natural. It doesn't feel like you're faking it with yourself. If you feel like you're faking it with yourself, you are. There's no need for that. All right. let's get into some Q&A. Can I just say also really fast? So Timothy Chalamet thanked Kylie Jenner at some recent award show. He was like, I just want to thank my partner of 3 years. Thank you for this foundation that we have. I thought this was so wonderful because something you guys may or may not know about the Kardashian, like the Kardashians, Kris Kardashian was very broke when her and Robert Kardashian broke up. Kris Kardashian did not come from money. Her mom, these ladies, I swear to God, like they are the symbols the universe has chosen to show matriarchy, and their lineage of matriarchy goes back to their grandmother. But she really understood like the power of being a woman. Kris Jenner's mom had no objections to her being like 17 years old and dating these like 30-year-old golfers and stuff like that. She was like, use your beauty, use your wiles, like go for it. But Kris Jenner had an affair when she was with Robert Kardashian, and that was what ultimately caused them to break up. She was like having an affair with her personal trainer and then did this super cringe thing of like trying to defend it. Like, no, we're in love. And this guy was just like super hot, but classic young, dumb, full of cum, like douchebag, idiot. And she really tried to make it work. So she goes into divorce litigation with somebody who got OJ off the hook. And in her book and All Things Kardashian, she really like spills the tea about Nicole and the OJ trial and stuff because her and Nicole were best friends and it was a really big deal. Of course, the OJ trial was a really big deal, but for her husband to represent OJ, who him and OJ had been friends since college. So it was really like, an inside job, but she was left with nothing. And so she had to figure things out really fast. And Bruce Jenner at the time was a former Olympian who was doing some motivational speaking, but not famous, not very successful. And she was like, we're going to form an alliance, me and you. Let's get married ASAP. I'm going to get my agent's license. I'm going to get my manager's license, and I will make your career successful. She had no experience in that before because she was just like Robert. She wasn't Kris Jenner. She was Kris Kardashian, Robert Kardashian's wife, and that was literally it. She fucking hustled. She hustled to get him as many speaking engagements to make Bruce Jenner a celebrity. And in doing so, had created this culture for her family of like, look, like I'm going to put us on the map. They were not royalty. They had money and the kids could go to school because of Robert Kardashian. But when it came to her kids, Kendall and Kylie, that she had with Bruce Jenner, like they were really struggling to maintain their quality of life. They had a house they could barely afford. Nothing was really bringing in revenue. And so it was really Kris that like made that happen for the whole family. But something that I really love about Kris Jenner is that all of her kids love her. Like people can talk as much shit as they want about the Kardashians. Everyone in that family worships that mom. So whatever she did, she's got all of her kids talking to her. She's got all of her kids liking her. All of the siblings still talk to each other. All of the siblings still like each other. And this really strong family ties. I believe that this is what Timothy Chalamet is talking about when he's telling Kylie, like, thank you for this foundation we built together, because all of the kids also see this as being something that they want to provide for their children, even if it means having to tolerate their insufferable exes like Scott Disick or Tristan Thompson or whatever. Like, their concept of like family is the foundation for everything, whatever it is, we figure it out. What you can rely on from me is loyalty, steadiness, respect. I will be here for you. I will be your home base. Everything on that thrives. Like everybody that I know that there's so much stuff that goes out about the Kardashians, the Kardashian curse, and like, but even in Kanye's documentary that you saw where he's like showing the behind the scenes of him just screaming and freaking out at Kris, and she's still so loving with him and so patient with him. Like, I really admire the foundations that the Kardashians created for themselves and everybody that touches them. And I think that that's really cool. And I hope that I can create in my family a foundation. My biggest fear is my kids not talking to me one day. And I really hope that I can create a foundation for my kids where, happiness, success, monetizing what it is that you really love. Guys, don't forget that Kylie Jenner took her biggest insecurity, which was her face, and she turned that into a $1 billion business. She took what she was most insecure about and turned it into a $1 billion business. Her lip kits, her makeup, that's fucking amazing. And she did it so young as well. I want to make sure that my kids have every opportunity to take the things that they love and turn them into money. And we talked last week about like Brooklyn Beckham and how he was irritated that his family, he translated allegedly this drive that his parents have to like find your thing and capitalize on it. He started to feel that as pressure and felt a lot more aligned with like the Peltz's old money concept of like you're rich, you don't have to do any of this stuff. I'm really firmly in the Chris Jenner, in the Victoria and Brooklyn and David Beckham camp of like, you came here to do a thing. And I'm sorry if it feels like pressure to you to find your thing and do it. That's never my intention. But it's not okay to just like float through life. You came here to do a thing and you're never going to be happy if you don't do it. And that's where I'm at with it. Okay, let's go into some questions. 1-3 generator, praying for completion on a legal situation which is financially draining. How would you approach this in the Kriya prayers? So when you're praying to divine masculine, show me what I need to do to complete this legal situation. Give me peace of mind on this legal situation. If there's something that I can do to expedite, if there's something I need to start doing or stop doing, please show me what that is. Asking for specific help with a specific thing. Praying to divine feminine looks like, oh, I just feel so overwhelmed by this. It's been going on for so long. I feel like it's just been hanging over my head, just saying the problem. Hello, I'm a massage therapist. I have been for 16 years. I want to be making more money, but I don't want to massage all day. My mom has a sauna business that she's planning to sell to my sister and I next season. This is also where I do massage. Should I be focusing on my massage business or the sauna business? I'm also a 5-1 reflector. Love that. So, first of all, for a reflector, this decision is going to come to you at the end. This decision, I'm sorry, does not need to come to you at the end of ritual. You have enough data to look back on. The answer is behind you. So you've been doing massage for 16 years and you've seen something about it. Massage is one of the hardest businesses to scale. And fortunately for you, you have an interesting scale that's being presented to you through your mom right now. That's super exciting for you. But massage is one of the hardest things to scale. Massage is one of the hardest things to scale because you to have other hands doing your massage involves finding a method, teaching it to a lot of people, and also having a space, either digital through education or an actual studio where people carry on your method and you can still get paid even though you're not the one doing manual labor. Massage is manual labor. Look at your hands. You know what I'm talking about. Um, so one of the hardest things to scale. Now I'm really happy that Ritual is bringing this up for you because you have to actually just look at your data. For 16 years, how much have you actually been able to grow financially? You now have the data from the work that we've done in Ritual of like, what does the next iteration of your life cost? Are massages ever going to get you there? A no here is just as good as a yes. A no here is just as good as a yes because so many people, this is where most people get stuck financially, mechanically go to the same job over and over again, thinking that these little financial crumbs that they're living off of is one day going to turn into cake. That's not what crumbs do. Crumbs keep you starving, they keep you wanting more. But every single day, you go back compulsively to that same rut without just accepting. This is not going to get me there. If all you do today and on the white line of magic is accept that this is not going to get me there, that's going to be good enough. My question is, how do you determine the masculine or feminine days of the week, planetary or some other method? What we're doing here isn't actually connected to days that we're just balancing masculine and feminine. So it doesn't matter what day you're doing things on. But typically, at least in my mind, solar is even numbers and lunar is odd numbers. My interest in energy is only going down from day one to day five. I am not even taking action. Okay, this is going to be fun. Really happy that you asked this question. I love it. I love questions like this. My interest is and energy is going down from day one to day five. I'm not even taking the action I normally would. Even in the last bit of the Kriya of downloading the vision, literally nothing shows up, which is also weird because generally I'm bombarded with these. The question is the reverse effect, is this reverse effect part of the purge or just unusual? This is you. This is you. Right here, I'm not even taking the action I normally would. Well, why not? Well, why not? Even the last bit of the Kriya, literally nothing shows up, which is also weird because generally I'm bombarded with these. So what have you stopped doing? What have you stopped doing? Why are you're not meant to come on ritual and stop doing. Oh, let me see. I had almost nothing come through for my vision for day 6. I did see a lot of horrible shit I definitely did not want. Great. Whatever, look in your own history for yourself, like what have you stopped doing, and are you in just like a restful period? Are you on your period or something? Because sometimes we're in like lower production, and I say we, I mean me. Sometimes we're in lower production mode. Now I meant to say this in ritual today but I forgot. um Seeing what you don't want, every I don't want this, you can very easily turn into an I do want that. So, for example, I don't want kids. You can just turn that into I really want a life where I control the majority of my time. If you're like, I really don't want to be in a violent marriage, okay, I really do want to be in a marriage where I'm loved and respected all the time. So just look in your own data, please. But listen, doing the same thing every single day for a lot of people like is a struggle. And showing up and doing the same thing every day is how you develop consistency. So even though I don't have literal words to go off of from what you've said here in this question, I'm going to tell you from my gut, show up with a better attitude. Do it smiling the entire time. Do it being like, yes, there is something I can do, because you're only going to get more of this. You're probably going to be melting down in poison removers because you're like, I hate this and I don't want to do it. Decide if you're in or out. Decide right now if you're in or out. Are you doing this? Yes or no? If you're doing it, do it with a great attitude. Show up every single day ready to work. Work twice as hard. Work twice as hard. Do the hardest version of every single Kriya as long as you're not hurting yourself. But you have to decide. And you have to think about what's life going to look like for me if I say, you know what, nothing can help these money blocks. I'm never going to be able to change my financial state. This didn't work. Therapy didn't work. This didn't work. That didn't work. Do you want to be just somebody where things don't work? Decide if you're going to be someone that things work for or not. Do you have a track record of quitting things? Are these your emotions that come up where you're like, why am I even doing this? There's no point. How good is your track record of completion? If your track record of completion is great, then entertain the idea that maybe this isn't for you. And it doesn't have to be for you. But if your track record for completing the things that you start is less than perfect, then finish the fuck out of this workshop with a great attitude. Let's go to the next question. How do you know when it's worth it to suck it up and keep something you built but now dislike, and when to burn it down and move on? Homie, I actually don't know, because I feel like throwing away this old book. I really feel like throwing away this old book. I can't stand it. I'm a completely different person now than I was when I wrote the book. I had an awakening that put me on the map. I don't even want my name to be connected to this book, because my name, Onami, thank you. This is how I'm going to find out that it's time to burn it down and move on. My name, Onami, should not be on a book that I wrote as Everest Asher. The name Onami should not be on that book, because Onami did not write that book. My old job, pre-awakening, first awakening, Everest Asher, that's who wrote that book. I can't sell this book anymore. I don't care if I have to stop mid-launch. I don't care if it's a good book. I don't care if people like it. I can't have my name attached to that book. I just can't. It's hard for me to leave money on the table like that. Last year was super hard, but that book required so much explaining to make it right. And I know because I read every page of the audiobook and I was like, I hate this book. I don't think this way anymore. I don't agree with this. I understand that the first level of teaching is something that everyone needs to get. I understand that people have to learn it somewhere. If they have to learn it somewhere, it might as well be from me, but I can't do that anymore. I'm literally unpublishing this book on Amazon right now, and I'm going to feel so much better when I do it. I'm going to make the call right now. Now, I just know from talking it out and from the way that it feels, from talking it out and the way that it feels, that's all. And there's so many people, like I've been talking to everyone about this except for myself. Unpublish. Let's go over here. Thank God I still have this up. My husband's gonna be so proud of me. Paperback's gonna take a while. If you guys want to get those last copies, go ahead and get it. But talking it out and just how it feels. Because I've talked to so many other people about it, and they're like, but it's a book, but it's a this, but it's a that. I know, but just doesn't feel right. And at some point, learning to honor the like, it doesn't feel right has to be enough. Leave this book in your garbage. I just hate the book. I just hate the book. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say. So, all right, goodbye, book. My current goal is to have $10,000 months working no more than 3 days a week, which feels super achievable in my current job, freelance hairstylist. My side project that I'm working, you need to do the physical, especially as a manifester that doesn't have consistent access to power. 10,000, let's just think about this. If we're doing working no more than 3 days a week, let's see, $10,000 months divided by 12, that's how many billable days you have per month, 12. That means $833 a day, which divided by three clients is roughly $300 a client. Just make sure that that math really maths for you, that you're referencing something that is like familiar to you. Like I've taken three clients a day and it felt good. My side project that I'm working towards is creating an online home decor shop, also bringing in 10K months with handmade furniture. As a manifestor, I'm pretty sure that you're not the one that is making the furniture yourself. I do love to do art on my now schedule. I calculated the profits. Okay, cool. So this is very manifester. Manifestors do really well having lots of different projects that they can kind of bop around on and not feel like they're stuck too often in one thing. The first thing you're going to need to do is just secure the bottom line. So, what's currently bringing in the money is your hairstyling business. Get that one secured first. And then, what's paying first, what's paying fastest, what's paying most. Just having that be the priority list. Now, most manifestors are going to work a little bit on all of these projects and then they'll all be ready at the same time. That's fine. You just want to make sure that you cover your financial bottom line to be able to do this. So in general, with the altar, if it's something you need help with, put it on the altar. If it's something you don't need help with, don't worry about putting it on the altar. When going from corporate to entrepreneur, I want to focus on making what I'm making in corporate, or do I focus my ideal amount of money? I think a good first goal is to try and make the same amount working for yourself that you did, the same amount working for yourself that you made working for somebody else. Don't quit your job right away. It takes 2 years to reach that level of profitability. But what I'm going to recommend for you is take all of that structure and discipline that you learned from corporate and bring it to entrepreneurship. I've seen such amazing results when people do this. If you need an Enneagram check, you need to show me an Enneagram, okay? And guys, just so you know, let's take a break here. All of these questions are coming from Safehouse, which is the esoteric business school that I run together with my husband. We have Q&A every single Wednesday where we can answer any questions that you guys have when you're coming up against these things on the workshop. Safehouse enrollment is all of the different workshops together, bolstered by Q&A. Now, enrollment for Safehouse is only available 3 different types a year, and our next enrollment isn't in May, but isn't until April for a May 1st start. But something I have coming up that I think you guys will be really excited for is a new workshop called The Science of Sales. I make the money that I do as an entrepreneur. We did 877 last year. That was on 2 hours. We worked a bit more last year. It was more like 4 hours of work per week. no ads, one part-time virtual assistant. The whole business is digital, so no startup capital, no shipping costs, really high margins, really agile business. But the reason why we're able to make this amount of money is because I'm really good at launching and I have a lot of projects. I did not used to be really good at launching. I didn't know what made a launch successful. So I would kind of just get out there and talk about my product until I was so tired of talking about it that I just couldn't do it anymore. And once I realized that there was a specific magic based checklist that you could just follow and say, if I hit these points, if I hit these two lead magnets, if I hit these nine sales emails, then I will have done an objectively perfect launch and I'll have taken the maximum amount of money that I could take for that effort. And this is when I know how to shut it down. This is something really easy to do. I just didn't know the name of it. This is called building a sales funnel. And I'm really excited to teach you everything that I know about building a sales funnel before inviting you to take a very short workshop on some customer psychology pieces. If you come to the masterclass, you will leave knowing how to build a sales funnel. If you have experience in this already, it should be a no-brainer for you, even if you don't have experience in it. After watching this masterclass, which is completely free, you will now be able to just go and implement that for whatever product you have in your repertoire right now. That masterclass is happening on the 22nd of January at 11 a.m. Eastern. And if you go and comment sales on any one of my Instagram posts within the next 2 weeks, you will get an invite sent right to your DM as well as an opportunity to get a replay. Thank you. Let's go back here. What tools do I use to get past the block of not being enough to get external funding for my vision and how? Specifically, I'm feeling resistant to taking the leap of asking for funding from investors on a large level for my non religious sanctuary space I'm building with my business partner. Wonderful. So, something that I love about this with spiritual people is that a lot of times when you have an idea that is delulu, you will avoid speaking about it to other people. And all ideas are delulu to begin with. You have to talk it out with people and notice the places where they're wincing or you're wincing. Notice the parts that you're omitting and you don't want to talk to other people about because you're like, they're going to know that this is wishful thinking. If you think it's wishful thinking, it probably is. But talking about it over and over and over again, what's for sale? How many do I need to sell to reach my goal? How is this thing going to be profitable? Why should you invest your money? Like, spiritual people have such a hard time doing the white line of magic, which is like, what's your game plan? What's your game plan? You've talked about a non religious sanctuary space. Okay, cool. So, how is it going to make money? How is it going to make money? Investors, if you want people to invest in your business, you have to be able to say what's in it for them. So, how are you planning on getting money back into their pockets? Or are you just asking for free money? That's probably why it feels bad. So, what's going to be for sale in this business, and how many are you planning on selling? And how does this correlate with the actual amount of people that you have in your base right now? Also, have you done the physical product homework? The physical product homework you can find in the bonuses area of Ritual. What's for something's got to be for sale or it's not profitable. So the block here is probably like it's delulu, and when you open your mouth to speak, you know it's delulu, so you're just not talking about it. And the workaround for you, the way to get through this block, is to use that praying to divine masculine, divine feminine every single day. You're talking it out. Look, I'm scared. This doesn't sound good. I'm scared that people aren't going to like this. I'm scared that I have no way. I'm concerned if I should even be collaborating with this person or not. How do I know that this thing that I'm creating is different from all of these other like healing centers and healing hubs and sanctuary spaces and sound healing and yada, 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 that other people I know have tried to lift off and have never done it? Please show me what needs to be for sale in this. But from a business perspective, You can handle the truth. Nobody's going to go for this until you're showing proof of concept that there is a line of that these are the people that are going to come to this space and pay for it. So, yeah, you have to secure a lot of money to open up a brick and mortar, but it takes no money to build a social media audience. And in doing that, you're going to get clearer on what it is that you offer. You're going to see opportunities available for sale. You're going to see all kinds of opportunities to make this happen without spending a dime. And then it's going to be a lot easier to secure funding because you say, look, I have proof of concept. Here's an online space. All of these people would come to an in real person space. And by that time, you might not even need investors. I'm curious about calculating your numbers where debt fits in. Absolutely calculate your debt. When we calculated our desired or needed future income, my numbers came up to the same amount that I'm making right now. Wonderful. So now what we're looking into is investments, the ability to stop working and take a break. I added a video under that one for people that are already wealthy, that are already happy with their numbers. Like, you get to a certain point where your quality of life wouldn't change with more money. So it just becomes about background money, about having investments, about being able to do more stuff with your money, investing in other people, investing in yourself. But something to consider is like, you're a massage therapist, you're making what you like. If you broke your hands, how long could you live off of your money? Do you like that? If not, what's your workaround? And honestly, if you're doing manual labor, you should always be considering the idea that like you could get an injury. And what would that do for you? How quickly can I start and scale an eco-friendly cleaning business to the point you're asking me this question? And I saw your yellow heart down there too, so I'll go look at that one as well. Although I do think I answered about as much as I could answer yesterday on the onboarding call. But this is a question that I'm going to love. How quickly can I start and scale an eco-friendly cleaning business to the point where I'm just handling management, promotion, contract instead of doing the actual cleaning? I have two regular clients and at least five dope testimonials. You can do this right now. You could do this actually before you even started a cleaning business, which is instead of saying, hi, I'm Phoenix, I clean your houses, you say, hi, we're spiritual cleaners and we clean houses. We can send someone over to your house for a trial period. Can I tell you also, since I have you on the line, if I had a cleaning business, I would send my customers a time lapse video of me cleaning their house every time I cleaned their house. Now, look, you can listen to audiobooks while cleaning while a time lapse is going. So don't worry about like, oh, you know what, I need a second phone to do that. They would be so surprised and delighted and satisfied, as well as you can say, look, it really did. I was cleaning the whole time. This is also good for you because you'll go into the zone. You won't get distracted. You'll find that you can handle more than you thought that you can handle. But it's such a nice touch that I really think, because, you know, let's say you were charging $30 an hour for cleaning. I feel like if you sent somebody a time lapse, you could charge more like 40 to 45. Also, something that you need to know about people in cleaning companies is that people get very anxious about hiring a cleaner, having to train somebody over again, how these things would start, complicated. There's also the difference between cleaning and maid service. A lot of cleaners do not do laundry. Maid services really do just do laundry. So if you can have that add on and we'll also do your laundry if that's something that you want, just let them know here's a few boundaries that we have. Bodily fluids on things, I can't do that. If I come across even one, we're not going to be doing laundry for you anymore. Everybody understands what that means, and it's okay for people to leave their cummy socks out of the laundry basket and do that load by themselves. That load. But that's a little piece that I would definitely add in. So it's the difference between promising your customer that you personally will be the one cleaning in your branding and in your everything. And it's literally the next, just go, because it's a local business, you can advertise locally on Instagram, but also for free, you can just put it in places that are attracting the customer you want. So maybe you wouldn't post it at Albertsons, you would post it at Whole Foods. And maybe you would name your business something that's letting people know that you're different. For example, like spiritual cleaners, supernatural cleaners, obsessed OCD cleaners, like something that really lets people people know, like, we're going to get the job done. And I would let them know. Trial session, we'll send you a time-lapse video of us cleaning your space afterwards, and you're going to love this. Clean talk, the works. And then effective on that next phone call. The next phone call, you pick up that phone and say, yeah, we can send somebody over. Even if that somebody is you and you're just trying to rack up more clients. And then you have to think about, where could I go to find people that would also love to do cleaning as well? It, do I want, like, who do I know that could really benefit from this? Do I want to say from the very beginning that it's friendly for moms, that they can bring their kid along with them and the kid can watch TV, or the kid can be there, or whatever. Do you want to say that it's weekends only? Like, you can really decide the type of people that you want to work with, but something that you need to know from the very beginning is that if you are not paying your people respectfully, if you're making $45 an hour billed to the client directly and you're only paying them 20, expect to constantly be running out of staff. Now, if you're looking for sustainability and you're like, who would really benefit from a $35 hour? It's bigger brain for you to make $10 an hour, taking a much smaller cut on your spiritual cleaning service and be able to actually retain your employees. It's way smarter to do this and to build up a bigger and bigger network of people that love working for you because you paid them well, than it is to get greedy, to take a high cut. If it was me, I would not take more than 10% of what my cleaners were making, because my intention would be, how big can I grow this fucking thing? And if Kris Jenner is taking 10% and she does all that for her kids, I would only want to take 10%. But I'd want to think of, like, who am I really solving a problem for here? People that need to work under the table. What if I guarantee, what if you went really hard and you're like, do you hate ice? Do you hate, and it's, sorry if this is politically triggering for everybody, but it's like, do you also hate ice? You would love our cleaning company. I'm not saying that I'm hiring people that have to work under the table, but I'm saying if you want to help support people that are in this country without paperwork, you can hire my cleaning service. So think of who could really benefit from consistent work that pays well. I have seen the guy that we hire to do painting for us just constantly losing staff. And it's like, you would never be losing staff if you paid people appropriately. You have to really choose, like, how high do I want to grow this thing? Because honestly, like, you could grow it nationwide if you wanted to. In the scaling to 500K video in the pre-work section, you mentioned a next video on building out a method. You can see that in the Enneagram bonuses, and also you can see that in the Enneagram bonuses. You can see that in the business resources, and also it'll be in the science of sales. Okay, we have a few more questions here. Let me go over here. Let me see. I looked into my tribal lines as a fourth line. I have partial tribal lines. Does that mean I should be building a community that I'm integrated into based on my unique gifts? So how does it feel for you? You're a four line, so you're really well suited to community in general. But do you have any full channels? If you have full channels, focus on those ones. If it's only a few, if it's only hanging ones, just do what feels right. Do what feels right for you. If you have a little bit of tribal lines going on, and they're fine. Okay. How to use the Enneagram to build lead magnets core offers for circus and performance work. I'm a solo mom, one kid. I want to take him out of school. This is what I would do. If I were you, what I would do is a core offer for circus and performance work, plus you have a kid. So circus and performance work, the only way to make that, like, directly passive is to either teach people how to do this type of stuff, which is, have plenty of disclaimers. You don't want anyone getting an injury, or to sell private performances, which I think is just way too much work for too little benefit. But you could teach people how to do, like, acro yoga and stuff, how to work out with their kids. Again, disclaimers, this might be something that you'd want to, with physical stuff. Like, just disclaimer yourself up. Make sure that people can't injure themselves at home. And sometimes it takes quite a bit of practice to feel comfortable teaching people things that they really just can't fuck up at home. I could get way more complicated with the things that I'm teaching, but I want people to be able to succeed at it really easily. I've been part-time self-produced cabaret. You could teach a sequencing workshop. You could teach people choreography. You could coach people. None of these things are actually going to work unless you tested them out on people. So, test it out doing acro yoga with children, test it out teaching other people acro yoga in the park with their kids, testing out doing choreography for somebody else, testing out teaching people how to self choreograph. This is anytime we are working with something physical. So, physical is giving people massages, cutting people's hair, doing dance performances. These are hard things to scale, but the trick in general is find the part of it that you love the most and figure out a way to just do that part. So, let's say I'm a hairstylist. I love balayage. I've read this word. I've never said it. I've never had it, but I love how do I say this? I gotta change the word highlights. I love doing highlights. How you can extract yourself out is say, all right, I'm going to hire people to do all of the other things that I do, and I'll just do the highlight parts. I'm going to teach people how to do highlights my way so that eventually other people can do it for me. And every single one of these processes is you handing off some of your work. So maybe you need to teach other people how to cut the hair or trim the hair or do the foils or whatever. I'm sure you're familiar with stuff like this, but in spiritual law that you can never go to the next level of a teaching without putting somebody else at the level that you're currently at. So handing off the trimming of the hair to somebody else, that's putting them on your level. And this is something that's tricky with my book is that like they say you can't go to the next level without putting somebody else at the level you're at, but I put a lot of people at the level that I was at. And I really did my time at that level. And I think it's just time for me to let this book go. I don't want to be, I think it's just time for me to let this book go. It's hard. It's hard for me. I'm not kidding you guys. It's just hard. What do you guys think that I should do? What do you think I should do with my beginner's workbook? Here's the conflict that I'm in. I love I hate the book. If I hate it, you can't fucking sell a book that you don't like. Like you can't sell a book that you don't like. It's not good. It's not like what if that was the first book that somebody and the reviews are so nice. Like I'm conflicted about it. The reviews are so nice. People are obviously getting something from it, but I just don't know how to tell people I don't resonate with this anymore. This shouldn't even have my name on it. What do I not like about it? I don't like anything about it because it's written when I was in the duality stage of consciousness, which is like offensive to me now because I'm like, that's not correct. And I know that people need to make their way through it, but I don't think they need to make their way through it with me. Let's do five more questions. I'm going to scroll all the way up to some of the early questions that we got this week because there's a lot in here. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. I'm still struggling on my clear message with my niche being face yoga. First year doing ritual, and I would love to know if I should do Fuckless Express to get clear in business. No, Science of Sales for you is going to get you clear in business. Fuckless Express is we're just going to have one Fuckless. That's a 40-day social media practice that starts in on May 1st. And it is going to start on May 1st because according to Magic, that's the time when you guys need that boost. So that's when I'm going to be bringing it in. But Science of Sales for you is going to help you clarify what that core offer is. And honestly, the message with face yoga is it's the results. The results are what does the talking. So what that Vietnamese lady, her name's Trin something. The face yoga lady with the beautiful big cheeks, and she's always squeezing her cheeks so you can see all of her muscle tone. Before and afters, results, 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 results. If you need results, offer a 40-day face yoga thing for free just so that people get, so that you get those before and after pictures and say it's free, but I'm going to really ask you guys to give me those before and afters and please let me use them on my site. A lot of people are going to say no, but that should be the admission charge. Guy, and just be honest with people. The same way I need to be honest with people about leave this book in your bathroom. I really wanted this book was just written so long ago that I just don't resonate with this anymore. And I very much want to be seen as an advanced teacher, and I can't be an advanced teacher and a beginner's teacher at the same time. I don't think it's possible for me to do that. Uh, but tell people you can do this 40-day face yoga thing with me for free, but what you're really going to need to do is I'm going to need photos. I'm going to need photos. I hear the advice for manifesting generators when it comes to picking multiple niches or business ideas at once. Maybe you give advice to reflectors here also. Does the same apply? Well, definitely not. The advice for manifesting generators does not apply to anybody else except for generators. Reflectors, and one of the most important piece of advice that I could give to a reflector is find a role model who is a reflector. Find a role model who is a reflector. So whatever your niche is, like go Google until you find somebody that's a reflector. But first you're doing ritual, wonderful. So reflectors are here to be surprised by life. And so you wake up and you're a different person every day. The only way you can get a sense of continuity about yourself is to track all of the different people you've been over the course of a month. But reflectors, I have found, and I've worked with a lot of reflectors, do really well with picking one thing and sticking to it and having something that you can return to over and over because it gives you a sense of stability when there's actually not that much in your life. So how do you know what to focus on? Look at what's behind you. What have people consistently come to you for? What results are you really good at getting for your customer? And what method do you use to get them those results? And then show up to doing something every day for that business, no matter what it is. I used to give reflectors a really big hall pass about consistency until I saw how well they could actually do consistency. Okay, I have to focus on smaller questions here, guys. Man, I had a crazy exciting vision yesterday after the ritual. I was dancing in the fire, praying to God to show me what I could do, and I saw myself becoming a DJ. I love music, it's in my soul, dancing rhythms. I felt a big spread of heat and light all over my body. Ask for help on how to start this in the easiest way so you don't waste time. I sent him a message being totally real. He answered immediately. Tomorrow I'm going to meet him to talk about it. Great. Besides, I'm continuing to work on my business. Love this. Wonderful. Love that for you. Good job. And just remember what's paying first, what's paying fastest, what's paying most. So we can focus on everything, but when it's time to make money, just stop, zoom out. What's paying first, what's paying fastest, what's paying most. Let me stabilize the income. And there is so many ways that you can grow your DJ business online. Just go on TikTok and see all of the different ways that people are constantly sharing their DJ sets. I'm like obsessed with YouTube based DJ sets as well. I think that's a wonderful way to go passive from the very beginning. There's like these like brunch people that always do like these like brunch sets. It's a couple. They're always in like random Airbnbs and stuff. I love the idea of being like a YouTube DJ as well and not concerning you, really like building up your audience using tools like SEO. Book Club Radio are like my favorite DJs. They're so good with SEO. But you don't need big events. You don't need to hire out these warehouse spaces to really build your name up as a DJ. You can just release sets after sets. This is you getting better at working the machinery. This is something that when you're brand new and you might not be so good at doing it live. You can get something really perfect, something as perfect as a mixtape behind closed doors, really learning about what time commitment it takes for you to be able to put a set together and getting better and better at mixing. But you can profit off of this the whole way. You just might be profiting from neutral income. And the more you show up and keep putting, I made this DJ set, I made that DJ set over and over again in people's faces, you're going to start getting invited out to DJ. So, congratulations. I think that that's such a great idea. All right, you guys, this is all of the questions that I can answer. Well, let me see. I'm going to answer one more question. I heard you say somewhere that you can use your human design to figure out if you're meant to build a community, but now I can't find it. This is the concept of tribal lines. So you can find that in go to Fuckless Express. It'll be there, but we'll also address this when we do the full length Fuckless and on May 1st. All right, I want to thank you all so much for being here for Q&A. I'm going to be spending the rest of the day in passive and neutral. I'm probably going to watch some master class. I'm watching some master classes about stoicism right now. I'm going to also do some neutral time and just play with my kids for the rest of the day. I want to thank you all so much for being here. I had a great time. I hope you did too. And I will see you next Wednesday for Q&A. Have a wonderful day and goodbye. Bye. Oops. Oh, bye over here, you guys, you little cuties. See you later.